Okay, a little less than 10 seconds, but we're here. So, moving on. The cardinal type, therefore, is active, the mutable type restless, and the fixed type rigid. As material success depends upon actions, the important factors in the world's work are derived from this type. As stability is a necessary factor in important industrial undertakings, the fixed type frequently share the material and financial success with the cardinal type. The mutable type, however, adverse to effort, they want adventure, change, and travel. They are therefore the promoters, who bring manufacturer and inventor together. They are the vendors and middlemen of the agents who negotiate between buyer and seller. They are also the sensitives and react more keenly to the experiences of life. They carry more heavier burden because they feel more. They participate in the issues of life to a greater degree because they carry not only their own burden, but the burdens of those around them. The greater possibilities of inner unfoldment, understanding, and development are always with the sensitive. The sensitive uses not only reason, but imagination, vision, intuition, and insight. That's really awesome. Remember that we learned that imagination, vision, intuition, and insight are all products of the subconscious mind, are all things that happen within you. The imagination, being able to see something there before it is actually there. That's an amazing, and you have that ability, to create that. Whatever you can see in front of you, imagine it, like build that image within your mind, mentally picture it in your mind, and work towards that image. That's how you bring things into reality. That's how you manifest it in your life. The fixed types are usually the materialists, who are content with objective possessions and attainments. They use their reason and are interested in that only which can be measured or can be seen, felt, and handled. They are the doers rather than the dreamers and are utterly stable. They fill many responsible positions with great success and are valuable members of society. Neither type is superior. They are simply different. Both are necessary. The fixed signs represent something ingathered, collected together, accumulated, and relatively unified, something definite and uniform. A center of power is possibility, relatively quiescent, relatively quiescent, quiescent, and unchanging in itself, receiving from outside and giving back again when required. Let's look up really quick what this word means. Quiescent. Maybe quiescent, Quiescent, there we go. Being at rest, quiet or still, inactive or motionless. A quiescent mind. Quiescent. There we go. It's pronounced quiescent. Okay, the relatively quiescent and unchanging in itself, receiving from outside and giving back again when required. They resemble violent explosives, which are inert while they are undisturbed, but contain large stores of energy locked up within them, and produce sudden and violent effects when stimulated to liberate it. The cardinal signs are always on the surface, never inert, never still, full of activity, ever busy and changing. They attract most attention in the world. The mutable signs are intermediate between the two extremes, fluctuate between them, and can ally themselves with either, but they are never so steadfast as the one, nor so active and open as the other. In accordance with this, it may be noted that 3 out of the 4 mutable signs are described as, quote, double, end quote. So the mutable signs are the ones in between the cardinal signs and the fixed signs. The fixed signs being the ones that are persistent and they go out and they're the doers, they go out and do what they want to do. Then there's the cardinal signs, which are full of activity, they're busy and changing, They want, how cardinal types are very active. The mutable type is restless, and the fixed type is rigid. Okay, and the mutable type being in between the cardinal and the fixed. Okay, we have a little bit more to learn about that and more to go over that information with ourselves before we could actually explain it to others, because you always need to go over it with yourself first. Always with you first. In terms of character as applied to the average man of today, fixed signs indicate persons in whom feeling, desire, or emotion is strong in one or more of many forms of this phase of consciousness can assume. It may be selfish or unselfish according to the impression excuse me, sorry, I got the hiccups. I know. Unselfish according to the impression given their being at the moment of birth by the planetary vibrations prevailing at that time and place. Such persons are averse to change and have settled views and habits that are very difficult to alter, whether good or bad. They vary from the patient and enduring to the obstinate and determined. They sometimes follow one occupation or way of life for a long time without a change. They make faithful friends and unrelenting enemies. Cardinal signs signify persons who are full of activity, either of body or mind, often of both. They are restless, busy, venturesome, daring, bold, can cut out paths in life for themselves, are innovators, pioneers, abandoning the old and seeking for the new. They are self-reliant and ambitious, often make noticeable, popular, or notorious figures in their sphere of life, may be found occupying public positions or exercising authority over others. They are generous and impulsive, move and act quickly. They have not the plodding perseverance of the fixed signs, but can work hard and quickly, and achieve much in a short time. They seek rather a mold circumstances in their will than to adapt themselves to circumstances as do natives of mutable signs, or to overcome by dogged persistence as the fixed signs can. Okay, so after reading that helped me to clear it up within myself, with the difference between the cardinal, the fixed, and the mutable. Okay, if the cardinal, okay, so here's this live rock is the cardinal. Cardinal, okay. I'm sorry, I just kind of lost focus for a second. My family's up and they're making a lot of noise out of my house, so let's do our best to stay focused because we're here in the middle of our read. So the cardinal sign, let's say this live rock is a cardinal sign. Okay, cardinals are very good for getting things started. Hey, let's go do this and let's go out there and make it happen. They're restless. They have a lot of energy. They're very motive. They have lots of motives, and they're good at getting things started. Okay, next down here, or after this live rock, we have the laugh rock, which will be the mutable signs, which are the intermediate between the cardinal and the what was the other one? The fixed signs. Okay, and the mutable signs are the ones that they don't have too much of the, hey, let's go out there and get this done right now. Okay, and they don't have too much of what the fixed signs would have as persistence. Okay, they're the medium between the two. And so the cardinal sign being the ones that gets things started, the fixed signs being the ones that keep things going. The mutable signs, let's read more on the mutable sign and what it has to say. But here, the mutable sign is next. Let's finish the cardinal signs and what it's, okay, so we're still talking about the cardinal signs. They are quick both to love and hate, easily make both friends and enemies, but their feelings may change as quickly. Activity is the keynote of their character, no matter in what channel it may run, whether practical, emotional, or intellectual, and whether for good or evil. Okay, so now moving over to the mutable signs, which is the median. Mutable signs are more different to delineate. Adaptability may perhaps express their meaning. In the practical affairs of life, the natives of these signs show neither the activity that molds circumstances to their will, characteristic of cardinal signs, nor the perseverance and endurance of the fixed signs, but rather seek to gain their ends by adapting themselves to circumstances by intelligent discrimination and to avoidance of extremes. So the cardinal signs, they don't just get out there and start to do it, okay? The mutable signs, okay? The cardinal signs are the ones that just get out there and then they go do it, okay? The mutable signs are the ones that, okay, they're not so quick about it. They take a step back and analyze it more. How can I work this way intelligently? You know, how can I adapt myself to the best of this thing and what's happening? And then there's the fixed signs that are the ones for the perseverance. Okay. So let me read this sentence again. In the practical affairs of life, the natives of these signs show neither the activity that molds circumstances to their will, which is a characteristic of the cardinal sign. Okay, that sounds better the way we worded it right here. Okay, so a characteristic of the cardinal signs, how we are saying that they go out there and they just go to do it, to make it happen. Okay, they exercise a lot of their will. Okay, and nor the perseverance and endurance of the fixed signs, but rather seek to gain their ends by adapting themselves to circumstances by intelligent discrimination and the avoidance of extremes. And discrimination, when that word discrimination, I know I also mentioned it in a video before when I said that the discriminating things is a function of the conscious part of our mind. You know, when you discriminate something, it's nothing, you know, racist or anything like that. But when you're using the power of discrimination, you are, you know, this isn't as good as this one is for this type of situation. You know, when you discriminate something, you're pretty much taking the pros and cons out of it and seeing the pros and cons that they both have, in which one has more pros than it would cons in regards to whatever situation or circumstance to which you are dealing with at this current moment in time. They take this circuitous, or maybe circautious, C-I-R-C-U-I-T-O-U-S. Let's see what this one is. C-I-R-C-U-I-T-O-U-S. Circuitous. Okay, so circuitous is roundabout and not direct. Okay, so basically working their way around things. They take their circuitous, wow, I already forgot what it... Circuitous, moving around things. They take the circuitous path, which is a direct road. They take the circuitous path when the direct road is not open, and sometimes even when it is open. This tendency shows itself in a great variety of ways. They can adapt themselves to the habits and moods of other people. They can easily see both sides of a question and can honestly sympathize with quite contradictory opinions and principles. In the sphere of the emotions, this may make them sympathetic, humane, and charitable, and lovers of peace and quietness. Intellectually, it may be a very impartial, subtle, penetrating, and discriminating mind. They are to some extent natural managers, messengers, travelers, or intermediaries. In a general sense, interpret or express the feelings and ideas of others. Make writers and speakers of all grades, from clerk to author, from lawyer to preacher. In the individuality, the cardinal signs give executive ability, an action that is unifying in nature and in accordance with divine law. The mutable signs cognize likenesses, synthesize and draw together, and the fixed signs give stability and realization of the unity underlying apparent separateness. These signs may be further differentiated as follows, which will be the elements, and the first element being the earthy. In here, we'll also put our camera on here. Okay, so the first signs is earthy, practical and material, commercial, intellectual, and scientific. Okay, next we have watery, which is emotional and plastic, sympathetic and resolvent, reproductive. Airy, refined and artistic, given to abstract ideas. And fiery, spiritual and idealistic, energizing and creative. And they are divided as follows. Okay, so the earthy signs, so these signs that they don't not just have their own, what was that word? Constellation, which would be the three mutable, fixed, and cardinal, but also they have their own element, okay, which is earthy, fiery, airy, and watery. Okay, the earthy ones are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Fiery ones are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The airy ones are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the watery signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Okay, so starting with the Earth. Earth is the lowest and outermost of the states of matter, the most differentiated, limited, and complex, and the farthest removed from the state of pure spirit. It is referenced to a cosmic plane. It signifies the physical plane as a state of matter, which means the solid. In reference to a man, it means the physical body. As a state of consciousness, it represents actions, doing, volition, and distinguished from feeling or thinking. Persons in whose nativity the earth is predominant show as many modifications and classes as do natives of other elements, but they are generally practical, matter-of-fact people of the world who are better at doing than at thinking or feeling, or who try to reduce thought and emotion to practical applications. Basically saying that these people, the earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, are more interested in actually doing things other than just sitting there and thinking about things or feeling about things. You know, they'd rather just get out and do it. And that also goes to the fact with Virgo. I remember how I was talking about Virgo. Virgos they don't doubt the existence of the spiritual side, but they don't sit there and ponder over it. Instead, they go out and focus on what needs to be done. Capricorns, I remember saying, were natural leaders, and they're very, very hard workers. And same thing with Taurus. All of these three are earth signs, and they don't spend time in thought or in feeling. They rather just do things. My brother's a Taurus, and I remember Tauruses could be very, very stubborn, which is, we could all be stubborn at times, but you could definitely tell when somebody else is very, very, very stubborn. And they're hard-headed. They're stubborn. They do what they want to do. Moving on. They may be said to be natural executants, but their service varies from that of the prime minister, who is a servant of a kind, to the clerk, the shop assistant, and the laborer. And they range from the wise to the foolish, from the actively ambitious, selfish, or unselfish, to the passive, inert, and unenterprising. Water, as a state of matter, means the liquid state. In its application to a cosmic plane, it signifies the next interior one to the physical, called variously the astral or psychic plane, which would be the emotional plane. Remember how we were talking about in another the video before this, that the emotions are part of the psychic plane. They're the ones that generate feeling, either love or hate in regards to the nature of whatever it is that you're thinking or feeling about. Called variously the astral or psychic plane, it expresses consciousness through feelings, emotions, desires, instincts, passions, intuitions, and those who are born under it show both the strength and the weakness of this side of human nature. And what is connected with the psychic plane? Desires, emotions, instincts, passions, intuitions, feelings, which we've learned are all parts of the subjective, subconscious mind, our psychic body. They vary from the sympathetic, affectionate, charitable, imaginative, sincere, and religious, to the indolent, luxury-loving, passionate, selfish, listless, and inert. And next is the air sign, which is my sign, and the three water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So next, moving into the air signs, which will be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay, remember how we went over with the water signs that Cancers, Scorpio, and Pisces are very emotional beings. In airy signs, the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, they're all more mental beings. They think a lot about the mental aspect of life. So air, as a state of matter, means the gaseous state. It corresponds to sunset and expresses consciousness through thought and understanding. Those who are born under Aries signs show many and various gradations of intellect, from the literary to the scientific, from the metaphysical to the poetic, from the busy, practical, and executive to the profound, comprehensive, and solid. The imagination, whether expressed through poetry, music, or art, seems to belong partly to the air and partly to either fire or water. And then lastly, we're going over the fire, and the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. In fire corresponds to sunrise and to individualization. People coming under fire signs are impulsive, energetic, enthusiastic, positive, impetuous, and active. They seem to resemble the natives of watery signs more than those of earth or air, for they live more in the feelings, emotions, and passions than in the intellect. And so far as it is represented by the sun, fire may stand for the energizing and all-permeating life of the universe everywhere, the mainspring of all evolution, all progress. This, then, is a laboratory in which nature is forever combining the spiritual forces, which result in an infinite diversity on every side. For, quote, all are parts of one stupendous whole. All are parts of one stupendous whole, end quote. Now that is the end of section 6 on cosmic vibrations. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching with me. And yes, like I've said it in the last videos, this is a lot of information for us to cover, and there's still tons to learn. And we're here doing our best to connect the dots, because there's no better feeling than knowing that you're growing, and that's what life is about. Personal growth. To be better than the person you were yesterday. To be better than the person you were yesterday. Not to be better than anybody else. Nobody wants to be better than anybody else. Okay, because everybody is their own person. Everybody has their own weaknesses. Everybody has their own strengths. Okay, focus on your strengths. Okay, and connect yourself with people who have the strengths where you seem to be a little bit weaker on. Because they're going to be weak in the areas where you are strong on. Okay, you need other people. Don't go out there trying to do everything yourself. Okay, we're all in this together, and we're all here to make a difference in this world, and to leave something behind in this place for better. We're here to do all this to leave a better better thought conditions for the younger generation, better education, better, stronger minds, more intelligent beings on this planet, because this planet as it is, it's created by every living being on this planet, and us as humans being the highest form of creation with the most abilities to create on this planet. It is our responsibility to make it, grandeur and wonderful and amazing. Excuse me. And the reason things are the way they are now is simply because of the people. The people make up the world. The world gives us everything we ask for. It's just simply, what is it that you are asking for? Are you asking for things that just benefit you? Are you asking for things, or are you going to ask for things which benefit the whole? That's really the difference which distinguishes somebody from being a leader and just somebody who's, not a leader. Leaders do things for other people. Leaders do things to serve, to leave better conditions behind for the younger generation, so then they could take that. It's a process of evolution. Then they will be able to take all of that, and then to build on that from that. To build up better from that. And that is what we're here to leave behind. And, with all that being said, we're also here chasing our dreams and our goals, because we want to be, I want to be just someone that someone looks up to. That's all you need. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Remember our daily affirmation that we are the lights of the world, you and me, and together we're all going to make a difference. With that being said, I'll see you on the other side of the galaxy. Take care.